Midwest Gaming Classic 2025. It's over. Still lives in my heart. Can't wait till next year. But I want to get into recap of my experience and some of the games I picked up from this year, and some tips I can give you guys for next year, and hopefully it'll help you out. Hopefully it'll help me out because the beginning was a little bit confusing with standing in line and everything. But let's just get right into it. So when you first get into the Midwest Gaming Classic, you got to go through security, you got to wait in line. It was very confusing to figure out what line to stand in. There was a couple events going on. Also, there was they had a sign that said pre-orders, but there was no sign that said cash until you went all the way towards the back. So it was a little bit confusing, but one thing I did like was they had a guy playing game theme songs on the xylophone while you were standing in line, and it was just soothing. It made the whole experience kind of like a little bit easier. And that's some of the footage I've been playing in the background. So that was cool. The line was moving pretty fast, I would say, compared to last year. But definitely in future years, you definitely need to get your pre-order tickets. Don't wait and try to get tickets there. It's just going to be a bigger headache for you. And then also get your hotel as soon as you can if you know you're going to go next year. They already had the dates out. I believe it's April 24th through the 26th. Not 100%, but I will write it in the description down below to let you guys know the exact date of next year. But yeah, it was super fun this year. As always is fun. This year it seemed like they had a lot more vendors. It had a lot more variety as far as vendors, not just video games, but obviously the weapons and all these things. A lot of panels and exhibits and a lot of actors from the video games. So that was all cool. But this year I wanted to focus on the vendor side. I feel like I try to do everything all in one day sometimes, and I just get super overwhelmed. So this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be by myself on the first day, so I'm just gonna focus about 95% of my attention on the vendor side, so I could just take my time going through everything and see if I can find something that I need. So I did that, and for the most part it was still overwhelming. It seemed like they had an extra row of stuff, but I feel like you still can't prepare yourself enough for how overwhelming it is. So you get some people that are there, they're resellers or they're from other game stores, and they're super aggressive. That's the one thing I don't like is, I'm trying to look for stuff for my personal collection, things that I like, and there's people there that they want to buy up everything. They want to get all the copies of a certain game. For instance, I was looking for King Kong on the Xbox 360. One of the vendors said like there was Amazon sellers that came in like right when they opened, and they usually get like the 3-day pass, so they're there on Friday, and they bought all the copies from everybody just to resell them on Amazon, which is bullshit to me, because you go there for that experience. You go there to I didn't even buy a lot of games from my local game store within the last few weeks because I knew I was going to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and I figured I'd rather buy it from there, and maybe I can get some deals if I buy a bunch of different games. But a lot of the games I was looking for I couldn't find, and so that was kind of a bummer. But I went thinking I was gonna get about maybe 7 to 10 games, and I got almost half that. But it was still fine. It was still fun. They have wrestling there, they have bands playing, they have cosplay shows, they have competitions. I was actually in a competition, which pissed me the hell off because it was based off of 3 rounds. I was with Abdullah Smash, which is a YouTuber. I never heard of him, but he's almost at 1 million subscribers. But it was a 3-round competition where he asked you a video game related question. The first one to answer will get picked to be in the competition. I got the first answer right, so I was the first contestant. And then the second round was theme music, which I'm not the best at theme music. But the game that I lost on was Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. every other song that they played I knew, so that sucked. And then the third round was just going one-on-one, head-to-head. The first game was Mario Kart, which I would have beat him. Mario Kart 64, I would have beat anybody up there. Second game was GoldenEye 64, which I would have beat anybody up there too. So it sucked. The prize was Elgato microphone, but it was a cool experience. I'm usually shy when I go to these conventions, and I try to stay to myself and not talk. And for the most part, I still am. But I did end up seeing Retro Rick and meeting him, which was really cool. I followed the Pixel Game Squad, and I remember him from when he started off in there. And he has his own channel now. He has actually 2 channels. So, you know, he was like right behind me talking to one of the vendors about the Bonks arcade adventure game. And I didn't want to interrupt or anything, but we ended up bumping heads, and you know, I said what's up, and he was nice enough to give me a picture with him. So that was cool. It was my first time ever like approaching a YouTuber and having a one-on-one conversation. I did meet Phoenix Resale a couple years ago, just like real quick, just, you know, not like the way I met Retro Rick. So that was fun. But without further ado, I think I'm gonna get into the games I got this year, which is, like I said, I didn't get too many games, but I did get some stuff that, you know, I wanted. And there's 2 games I didn't get that I did want, but here we go. So first game, I actually got this before I went to the Midwest Gaming Classic, and I got this at GameStop. It was a couple days before I went, and it was on sale for $19.99, which is a really good price. And it is Super Mario RPG for the Switch. You guys know that Mario games, they never drop down in price. The lowest they go is usually like $45-$40, unless it's like a Ubisoft game. But this game right here, GameStop had it last week for $19.99, so I had to pick that up before I went, because I knew damn well that you weren't gonna find this game at the Midwest Gaming Classic for $20. And sure enough, I think the cheapest I seen it was like $55. So I picked up Spawn for the Xbox. I've been meaning to get this game for a long time, just always put it off. I believe I paid $25 for it. You know, it's not like a crazy good deal, it's not like a terrible deal, it's about what you would pay. But it's a very clean copy. It's complete. There's no scratches, no stickers, no markings on the cover or the CD itself, which there was a couple games that I wanted that I did find, and it was at like one vendor that had a ton of games, but almost every game that he had there had like his own like store sticker, like right in the middle here, like all around the disc, and they had writing inside the cover, a sticker like on the book, and it's just like I don't like that. Then I hate trying to take the sticker off, because sometimes you do that, it can peel like the protective layer of the disc. But yeah, so I didn't get any games from that vendor, even though he had a lot of stuff that was good. Next game that's been going up in price is this game right here. You know, don't make fun of me. You know, I like getting wet, you know what I'm saying? No, but this game right here, picked that up. This game has been going up in price like every month for the past year. Remember, this used to be damn near a bargain bin game. But this game is pretty much like a Max Payne, a female Max Payne, as you would say. I always wanted to try this game, but this is like one of those games where like it came out at a time on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 where there were so many good games. So like these like Max Payne clones, GTA clones, you kind of like skipped them because you saw them as like a generic clone of those games. But they were pretty good games. They're not like great games. They're not like, oh my god, they're the best games in the world, but they're fun. You know, just like I was streaming Sleeping Dogs a couple weeks ago. Like that's another game that got slept on when it came out because it was viewed as a generic GTA game. And that game is fun as hell. So I'm trying to make my way through all those games now that were really good and they got, you know, slept on by me and by most of the industry at the time. I always get I always get a 3DO game every time I go to the Midwest Gaming Classic. To pay homage to my uncle who passed, he gifted me a 3DO, and I was younger with a bunch of games, and every time he thought that system was amazing. He also gifted us Sega CDX too. But he was the tech guy when I was little. That's how I got into a lot of technology and video games. But I always get a 3DO game to just, you know, pay homage to him. And so this year I picked up Shockwave 2, Beyond the Gate. So I already had the first Shockwave, and then like there's like the expansion of it. I believe it was called Jumpgate, Operation Jumpgate. I do have both of those. Like I said, I don't think there's any like amazing games on the 3DO where like you have to have it. There's maybe like a few games, but like Shockwave was one game that I did enjoy. That one, and obviously Road Rash was amazing, and Need for Speed. I'm one of the few that like Twisted Game Show to play with my family, and when I was little, that was just so fun to me. But yeah, I picked that up. This one is actually complete in box, and the price wasn't bad. It was 25 bucks. Usually when you find 3DO games, especially like complete in box with the plastic and everything, usually it's above $50. They did have a couple other games like Killing Time and all that stuff, but those are out of my price range for 3DO. So this game was a game I forgot I wanted, forgot I needed for a long time. And so I was looking at some games, whatever, and there was a pile of games like just on top of other games. So I just wanted to remove those piles so I could see what was underneath the games. So I removed the pile, and I noticed a little 3DS game. And this year my focus was, you know, 3DS. I wanted to find at least one 3DS game because I try to focus on a system a year. So, you know, in years past I focused on PSP, then it's GameCube, 360, PS3. So this year I'm like, I have to pick up a 3DS game, and also Switch. So it's like Switch and 3DS. And so this year I found this game, the Sega 3D Classics Collection. And the cool thing about this one is these are the only versions that obviously are in 3D for the 3DS. It was 45 bucks, which is about average price, but it's new. It's complete in box, brand new, sealed, never opened. It should have all the decals and stuff inside. So that's the part I'm happy about, but I'm also bummed that I don't know if I want to open it because it's sealed. But I'm not a stickler on, you know, keeping sealed stuff sealed. If I want to play it, I'm gonna play it. But this one, I don't know, like this one, I hardly find this anywhere, at least by me. It used to be a game that always popped up everywhere, but within the last like 2 years I haven't been able to find this game in a lot of places. And that's of course I'm not talking about like eBay and Amazon and stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of cheating when you're searching for games, unless you got to have the game like immediately. But this game, I'm so happy I found this game, and I did not even remember about this game. That was the thing, I didn't remember about it. Lifted up that pile of games, and I'm like, oh shit, like let me grab this. Grabbed it, and yeah, I'm super happy about this. And you know, I'm a big Sega fan, so I'm glad to have that in my collection. And the final game is not a old game. It's not a retro game. It's not even a game that I went to the gaming classic to buy. It's a game that it was just like, okay, I heard some guys towards the end of the first day talking about it. One guy bought it, and he's talking to the vendor about it, and the vendor's talking to him about it. And the way he was like describing the game was like, I was like blown away by what he was saying. And then I was standing next to the guy that bought it, and there was another guy on the side of him, and we were both looking like, what the fuck game is he talking about? Because this must be the best game in the world. But it's a Switch game, and that's what I wanted to buy, a Switch game. And I wanted to buy like an indie Switch game. I didn't want to buy like a new Switch game, like a typical Nintendo property Switch game. I wanted to buy an indie Switch game, like a limited run, a rare type game. So apparently this game is rare, as physically it's rare. So I got this game right here, Dredge. It's the deluxe edition. It's $60 brand new. I told them he would go down to 50. They gave, so we settled for 55. So it's not a terrible price, but it's essentially a fishing game, which I don't think I would ever be into. But I looked up a couple videos on it, and it just seems like a chill game. There's a video, I forgot the YouTuber's name, but I subscribe to him. He talks about games that are good for busy people. So like this is one of them. So I'm looking forward to playing this game. I don't know how long I'm gonna, stick with it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this game. If you guys know about this game and you like it or you don't, go in the comments down below, tell me what you think about this game. But I'm looking forward to playing it. This game will probably hold me over to the Switch 2 when it comes out, if it comes out at the $500 price and not $700. And then I did get one more thing that wasn't a game, but it is video game related, and I love 3D prints. I got, I think, 4 last year. I got a Sega logo, a Nintendo logo, a Nintendo Power logo, and something else. I forget which one I got, but they look so cool. And there's one of the vendors there that has so much variety and stuff. This year he had a lot more variety, but I got one, and it was this. It was Sonic Adventure Sonic. Like, this to me looks so cool. I'm like, I gotta get that. Like, definitely gotta get that. I got it for $20. But yeah, this is I love this. I got a little Sonic corner over here that has I don't know what you call it, aluminum picture with some of the characters hanging on the wall. I got a lot of Sonic stuff, so I'm glad to add that to the collection. But if anybody out there, if you guys went to the Midwest Gaming Classic this year, tell me what you thought, tell me what you bought. I did see Midlife Crisis Media, I think that's his name now. I saw him there. I didn't approach him because I didn't want to bother him. He looked like he didn't want to be bothered with anyways. And then I believe I believe Gaming Off the Grid went, because I saw it on their Instagram. I did not see them there. And then also Mr. Right Way. I know he was there. I didn't see him. He was another guy I would have loved to have met. And I don't know how I could have missed him because he's tall and everything. So, but yeah, I had a really good time. Midwest Gaming Classic. Oh, and so after that, I bought the games. Whatever. We go to the gaming side, and they had a few games there that were just, I love playing the retro games, obviously, but I love going to the arcade section and playing the new indie arcade games. And they had this one game, which apparently it's been out since 2021, 2022, and it's called Kung Fu Kickball. And they just had one arcade of it, and every time I walked by, it was always like people playing it, laughing, screaming. So me and my family played it, all 3 of us, and it was the most funnest game to me. That was like the highlight of Midwest Gaming Classic to me. It was so fun playing that game, which, come to find out, it's on the Switch already, it's on PlayStation, it's on Xbox, and it's on Steam. The only down thing is on all the consoles, it's $19.99, which is not that expensive, which I'm still buy it on the Switch probably, but on Steam it's like $2.99. So but yeah, that game, I have a video of that game, of us playing. If we could have played that game the entire time, like, that's what we would have did, because my daughter loved it, my wife loved it, I loved it. It was just so cool to play that game. So simple, but yet so fun, and so challenging at the same time. I would love to get an arcade cabinet of that, which honestly, I have a couple arcades that I'm gonna, I haven't even finished modifying yet. I might just make one of my arcades just that game, now that I just thought of it right now, I think I want to do that, because that game is just one of the best games I've played, and it's so simple. But they had another game called Perfect Pour, which a lot of people were playing that too. Essentially, it is like a new version of tapper, root beer tapper, where you gotta fill the beer, and there's four joysticks, and they just go down, 4 arcade sticks, and you got to put it down, and it fills the cup of beer, and you got to stop it right at the top, and it's got to be a perfect pour. The closer you get to the top, the more better score you get. Obviously, there's perfect, good, awesome, and there's 4 of them, and then there's people standing in line, and when they stand in line, you got to fill up the glass. So every person has a different size glass. As the farther you go, the harder it is. So the glasses are different sizes, and then some people want like a pitcher of beer, so those take longer to fill. But in the meantime, people are getting like anxious, so they're starting to, like, you know, get mad at you. Obviously, the more they get mad, the lesser the score is. I don't think I got any video of that one, because there was just always somebody playing that game. I think that one was probably like the best game for everybody to play over there at that time. I still like Kung Fu Kickball, but Perfect Pour, I've never seen that one there. Even Kung Fu Kickball, I never seen that one there in previous years, which surprised me, because Kung Fu game been out for a few years already. What else? There was a lot of things there. They had Monster Truck there. Towards the end of the show, or at the end of the show, the monster truck was leaving, and I have some footage of that as well. And that monster truck was so loud indoors. Like, I've heard monster trucks before outside, but like indoors in that little area, it was so loud where like you could blow your eardrums out. But that was cool to see, and that was literally right at the end. And then I got to play Breakout, the new Breakout game from Atari. Atari was there. Atari had all the new games that they made for the Atari, I think 7800. I didn't get any footage of that, because like I said, it's just so overwhelming with everything. I feel like I need to go all 3 days next year to get the VIP pass or something. But on that note, I'm sure there's so many things I didn't talk about right now, but I don't want this video to be, you know, a 30-minute video. But yeah, let me know if you guys went to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Let me know if you saw me. I was there. I had a Gears of War shirt on with a Chicago hat, and then the next day I had a Sonic shirt with a Sonic hat. But yeah, I'm gonna shout out to I think it was Diego, and I forgot the other guy who won the competition that I was in. But shout out to those guys for playing. It was so much fun. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and like I said, go in the comments down below and let me know what you guys thought of the Midwest Gaming Classic. Peace.